no 9-year-old child should have to have their first sexual experience unwanted by you, an adult. Shame on you. Americans welcome immigrants, but don't make a mess. Follow the rules. Don't come to the United States and take advantage of our welcome and commit crimes, especially sexual crimes against children. And Mr. Galvez, has he been sworn in?
He was previously judged.
All right. In this case, Mr. Galvez has previously pleaded guilty to the second-degree felony of indecency with a child. A pre-sentence report has been prepared. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? And are there any corrections or changes to the pre-sentence report that has been prepared by the probation office?
On behalf of the defense, on page 2 at the bottom, the last entry under adult misdemeanor court history, it reflects an assault occurring the day after the offense that he's
that's pending. That has not been disposed of.
And he doesn't.
It will not be considered.
He's not sure what that is. Okay.
I will not consider that if it's a pending matter unless the parties want to put evidence on for me to find beyond a reasonable doubt that it exists. So the presumption of innocence exists and will be maintained on pending cases.
Okay. And then other than our responses or our comments that we would make regarding the recommendations that the probation officer made and the comments, we wouldn't really be correcting their comments, but would have some things to discuss when we get to that point.
State, any corrections or changes?
No, yeah.
Then the pre-sentence report is made a part of the record for all purposes. The agreement that's been reached is whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 10 years in prison. So the options here are confinement in prison, no less than 2 nor more than 10 years. Deferred or unadjudicated probation, I believe, can be assessed. Regular probation. Is regular probation an option under these circumstances?
I believe so, yes, sir. It's not a deadly weapon, so.
But it's under this Article 42A.053, judge ordered community supervision does not apply to a defendant adjudged guilty of an offense under 2111 Penal Code, indecency with a child. And this is 2111.
Yes, sir.
So regular probation is not an option, but deferred or unadjudicated probation is. We got to remember that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for catching that.
So go ahead. Defense may go first.
All right, Your Honor. Of course, as you can imagine, with this being a cap agreement, the defendant, Mr. Galvez, is asking for the court to grant him probation. I'd like to address a few things in the pre-sentence report. But everything is, as we said, there were no changes, is correct. But when we get to the recommendations, I have a few things I would like to say on his behalf. Now, just to give the court an understanding, when the probation report was, when the interview was held, it was in this same sort of scenario with an interpreter and a probation officer. So one of the things is, of course, it mentions on page 5 and the second line of recommendations that he has the possibility of facing a third deportation. His feeling is that he's hoping that he doesn't get deported. I recognize ICE has a hold on him, but he is hoping that he will survive that type of litigation.
Okay.
The second thing, a little further down, it says, although the defendant did not discuss the present case, which earlier she mentions that his attorney had given him instructions not to discuss the facts of this case in particular. Although the defendant did not discuss the present case, it appeared the defendant had no remorse for his actions in the present case. I'm not sure, and he's not sure why she had that feeling that he didn't discuss this case, but he informs me that he feels terrible. I mean, this is not something that he does have remorse for. There's a lot of adjectives and things I could say that to describe how he feels. He'll have a chance to speak to you himself, but he does not believe that should not have been anything that he did in that interview that would make her feel like he didn't care anything about what was going on here or for that little girl. A little bit further down, it says that that's 1, 2, 3, 4 more lines down or so that you seem to be more concerned about his future alcohol consumption. Again, he's not sure why she felt that way. He told her that he drank not every day, but maybe once or twice a week. He drank 12 to 24 packs of beer, but remember 12 packs to 24 packs once or twice a week. But he does
at a time.
Huh?
At a time.
At a time.
No. I get 3, 4 maximum.
You would buy that many a week, and then and then took a little while to drink them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But nonetheless, he's not sure. He doesn't remember having any conversation with her that made it seem like he was like. I asked him, I said, well, did she tell you that if you got probation, you wouldn't be able to drink? And he's like, no, we didn't have that kind of conversation. So he's not sure. He said it's possible. It could just be some miscommunication, but he doesn't remember saying anything that made it seem like he was concerned that he wouldn't be able to consume alcohol if he had probation. And then the fourth thing is, the next thing is at the bottom of that same paragraph, that the officer is in agreement with the proposed plea bargain, the 10-year cap, which I would interpret to mean that officer is okay with anywhere from probation to up to 10 years. So I take that as a positive comment. And I will say that I did not go over the supervision plan in the event the judge did allow him to have probation for the sake of time. But if the judge granted probation, I would ask that the interpreter be allowed to go over each of these 3.5 pages of 3 pages of rules.
That will be granted.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And so those are the comments I have about the different comments that were made in this report. This child who he harmed, that he recognizes he harmed, spoke up immediately. He was arrested. He took responsibility. He has not ever once with me indicated that somebody's trying to lie about him or make up things. He acknowledges what he did. He acknowledges that it was wrong. He knew it was wrong when it happened. He says he wasn't under the influence of any alcohol. Can't explain why he let himself do that. But he recognizes he's here where he is right now. He feels like the time that he's been in jail has given him a lot of time to reflect on his bad choice, bad behavior, and the effect it probably has on that child. But he is asking that the court allow him the chance to be out on probation on this case. He knows he'll have to attend different classes and things with regard to that type of behavior. He understands about registering, whether he gets probation or not. He said that he wants to come out and work, focus on being the best person he can. He's had time to think about his mistakes and recognizes what he needs to do to be a better person. Somebody commented somewhere in the reports that he had, after this had happened, he bragged on the phone to someone, and he says he does not remember having a phone conversation with anybody. He doesn't really remember even having a phone with them. He's not saying that somebody is lying about it. He doesn't remember that happening. And he tells me that he is very, very sorry for what he has done. So we would ask the court to consider probation for Mr. Galvez, even in spite of all the other issues he has with possible deportation. And I would just say, Your Honor, that if the court is not inclined to grant him probation, that on this 2 to 10 scale, we would ask you to consider something no more than 5 years. I know that he will be wanting to express to you his feelings about his behavior when the opportunity, when it's his turn.
Stay.
Your Honor, I'm recommending 10 years. That's the cap. It will allow you to follow the agreement. The reason for that request is multiple. On page 2, the comment that counsel just went into, if you read down on the 3rd line, it's the victim here that said, and I'm reading from the 3rd line. She said, even after the defendant committed the act, he was overheard on the phone by the victim bragging to someone about what he did to the victim. So it wasn't anybody, it was the child. It was the child that said she heard him bragging about it. Mr. Galvez, although he admits to the conduct, he denies any penetration. The detective on this case is asking that the court not give him probation. She's asking that you give him a penitentiary sentence. And again, I feel like it's warranted. At the bottom of page 2, a highlight for the court that he was on probation for DWI whenever this offense was committed. He admits to being drunk, which is a violation of those terms of probation. He has previously been given probation before, which was revoked because he didn't follow it. And he clearly wasn't following these conditions at the time in which he commits this criminal offense, which shows by his own conduct, not the comments of counsel, that he is not worthy of probation because he can't follow the rules. We go to page 3, which indicates he can't follow the rules because he was removed from being here illegally in 2008. He was removed from being here in 2019. He's got a current ICE hold because he's here illegally, which Your Honor knows is a federal offense. I cover all that because he was properly admonished at the time in which he entered this plea of what the conditions are. So I agree with Ms. Lindley on page 5 that what we're dealing with here is an undocumented non-citizen who is subject to the 3rd deportation. In addition to violating his probation, he's got other charges pending in Robertson County, Tennessee, a different state from where we're at. I'm unfamiliar with what those charges are, but I certainly know that that means that he travels outside of this jurisdiction. Again, things that indicate he's not proper for probation. And I believe that the comment that the officer made about the agreement is that she's okay with the court assessing punishment up to 2 years. Not that she's suggesting in any form and or fashion that probation is appropriate.
Before he speaks, I just have one more moment, Your Honor. And I recognize everything that Mr. Hamm is saying. I will say about the pending things in Tennessee, they seem to be what we would probably have as a almost Class C, except for the DWI, but them being pending since 2005 and him having been incarcerated all this time, I don't know what that means.
I don't think
That's a
so.
long time.
We're not going to take that into consideration.
And I believe that is all him.
All right. Mr. Galvez, do you understand from your previous experience in deportation and removal from the United States in 2009
Well,
and also in 2019, two separate times.
dos veces distintas.
You were in the United States illegally and were removed from the United States and thereafter returned.
Y luego
Do you understand that the consequences of this case
tiene que desconsiderar
can
la causa,
and will most certainly
lo más probable
adversely affect
va a afectar
your ability and privilege to be in the United States because of this crime? Do you understand?
las consecuencias. Yes.
All right. Do you wish to add anything in addition to what has been stated by the attorneys and what's in the pre-sentence report?
Algo que quiera añadir, aparte de lo que han dicho los abogados. Pues lo siento mucho y pues, I'm really sorry. Y si el señor me da la oportunidad de salir. The opportunity to be put in, todo mi parte para ser una mejor persona. I'll do my utmost to become a better person. I'm profoundly sorry.
Mr. Galvez, you've got to do more than try hard to be the best person you can be. You have to follow the law.
Comprende, señor, que pues que es cuestión de, no solo es cuestión de hacer el esfuerzo, sino que tiene que cumplir con él. Yes.
And you have committed this offense after being subjected to criminal charges here in the United States in the past. But on two separate occasions, you were deported, I guess, to Mexico?
Yes.
To Mexico, two separate times. And then on the third occasion, you illegally entered the United States and committed this crime. And to this day, you're still not a citizen of the United States. Is that correct?
A pesar de todas las deportaciones, todos los delitos que ha cometido, aún no ha arreglado. That's right.
All right. Well, Americans welcome immigrants. That's what the United States is special for. My grandmother was Rodriguez, but her family immigrated in the lawful way and followed the law and the rules. We say welcome, bienvenidos, but don't make a mess. Follow the rules.
No, sí, aquí en Estados Unidos le damos la bienvenida a los inmigrantes, pero también
In this case, you had been deported twice, came into the country
veces,
a third time and was not a citizen of the United States and committed this second degree felony of indecency with a child. And the pre-sentence report, which is in evidence, is very disturbing. That you had sexual contact with a child, 9 years of age. 9 years of age. And the pre-sentence report here states that you were overheard on a phone call after that, stating, I finally did what I wanted to do. This was a statement made by the child. No 9-year-old child should have to have their first sexual experience unwanted by you, an adult. Shame on you.
Sí. Qué vergüenza.
You have pleaded guilty in this case voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted into evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this second-degree felony of indecency with a child. I'm following this agreement. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 10 years. You must register as a sexual offender, and this will be for life. Failure to properly register as a sex offender in the state and in the United States can subject you to additional criminal charges. You will be required to immediately register, and that registration will need to be repeated, and I think annually, and your attorney will help you understand how to fill that out. That needs to be done immediately. This is the type of behavior, Mr. Galvez, that makes it hard on immigrants who want to come to America, because unfortunately, criminal acts such as indecency with children punish people who are trying to lawfully immigrate into the United States. You hurt everyone, not only this 9-year-old child, yourself, the family, but other immigrants who want to lawfully come to America to search and try to reach for their dreams. We welcome immigrants. We are all a product of immigration. But don't come to the United States and take advantage of our welcome and commit crimes, especially sexual crimes against children.